Roberta.
It's the perfect song. It Ain't Meat, Babe. That's the name of the blog, and this is the writer, Jennifer Whiteford. Great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so it's so much fun to read why people blog as they're blogging, and the ideas behind why they came up with this certain blog and what they want to be able to do with it. So what was the idea for you behind It Ain't Meat, Babe?
Well, people always ask me for recipes, and I really love to cook, and a lot of people are interested in becoming vegetarian or even eating a little bit more vegetarian food. And I had friends who were saying, oh, you make it look so easy, and it's not rocket science. So I just wanted to be able to put recipes out there. And for me, it serves as kind of an encyclopedia of my own recipes. I can go back and check to see what I was cooking this time last year.
Is it fun for you? Because I know you have, writing is also a passion of yours, so to be able to put the two together.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I think that's why I don't just post a recipe. I'll put a story that has to do with what the recipe is, or sometimes has nothing to do with what the recipe is, but is just something I feel like talking about. And it takes a long time to write a blog post because of that, but it's always very rewarding when it's finished.
At the end. So you're putting out one post a week?
Usually, yeah.
One recipe?
One a week, yeah.
One of the ones you want to do for us today was this soup.
Yeah. This is what I suggest. Often people want to participate in what they're calling Meatless Mondays now, where they have a vegetarian meal on Monday night. And this is something you can start preparing on a Sunday while you're watching TV or reading a book or taking your kids somewhere. You can throw a squash, and that's what I have here. I roasted this squash last night. It takes about an hour, but it takes none of your attention. You just cube it up and throw it into the oven, and you roast it for an hour. And that is sort of a cheat, because that brings out all the great roasted flavor for the squash. But then when you go to make it on Monday night, you can do it in a few minutes like we're doing right now. So this is around 4 cups of vegetable soup stock, and that's going to go in there too with the squash. And I've started with onions, carrots, and celery.
Okay, yeah, you finally chopped those and have them overheat.
And they're all in there. And then basically that's it until it warms up. And then you're going to use your handy immersion blender, which is something that all chefs should have. That's live television. And you're going to just blend it all up, and then it becomes a really smooth, lovely soup. So if I keep doing that, I'm going to add a little bit of nutmeg as well. And then to make it creamy, what I have, normally you'd add cream to soups, but this is white beans, so cooked white beans, with just a little bit of soy milk added to them, just over top of them. And then I use this, and I blend it up. So you can see how thick and creamy that looks.
So you've taken white beans.
Yeah.
With a little bit of soy.
Yeah, soy milk.
And then done the job in terms of blending that up to be able to create the liquid or your creamy base.
Yeah, and so then you have, it sort of does two things. It makes the soup creamy, but without a lot of fat and a lot of calories. And it also gives you the protein. Now, everybody always asks vegetarians, where do you get your protein? So this is where you get your protein in this recipe, is from those lovely white beans that go in there with the squash.
For you, I mean, of course, that is the challenge, and people talk about that. Was it fun for you to do research or find ways to be able to bring more a nutritional value to what you're cooking?
Yeah, I used to work in a health food store, so when I worked there, I learned all kinds of things about cooking vegetarian food and everything. So that helped out a lot, and that allowed me to learn how to do this.
So how long would we have it sit like this once we've gotten everything
Well,
chopped
once
up?
you have it in, you really just need to heat it all the way through. So if I had more time, I would blend it obviously more thoroughly. I'm going to add some salt and pepper and a little bit of lemon. And if you blend it a little bit more, it gets much thicker. You can see it's starting to thicken up now and look a little prettier with all the squash in there.
So that's your squash soup recipe.
That's the squash soup recipe.
You can find plenty more on the blog. It's called It Ain't Meat Babe. itaintmeatbabe.com is where you want to go. Best of luck with that and with your continued writing, because I know you're working on some books as well in there, if I read correctly.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we are going to take a short commercial break. Eventually, I hopefully will be able to taste this. Maybe as we're coming back top of the hour, your news headlines are coming your way after this.